Why did Napoleon lose? Napoleon Bonaparte, the man who once dominated Europe with unmatched speed, strategy, and ambition, a commander whose armies marched from Spain to Poland, reshaping borders and rewriting history. Yet in the end he lost everything. So the question remains, why did Napoleon lose? To understand the answer, we must go far beyond Waterloo. We must look at the world he created, and the world that rose to crush it. 1. Overextension, an empire too large to control. At the height of his power, Napoleon ruled or influenced more than 70 million people. His empire stretched across Europe, but it was held together by constant war. To maintain this dominance, Napoleon demanded enormous armies. By 1812, he commanded the largest force Europe had ever seen. Over 600,000 soldiers from France, Italy, Germany, Poland, and dozens of allied states. But this strength was also his weakness. Feeding, arming, and coordinating such a force was nearly impossible. Supply lines stretched hundreds of miles. Local populations grew resentful, and every new victory cost more manpower than France could replace. Even Napoleon couldn't escape the limits of geography and logistics. 2. The Russian invasion, the beginning of the end. Napoleon believed he could force Russia back into obedience with a single, decisive campaign. He marched east with the Grand Army, expecting a quick, glorious victory. But Russia refused to fight on his terms. They retreated deeper and deeper into their own land, burning villages and supplies behind them. Napoleon pushed forward anyway, until he reached Moscow. And then the city burned, not by French hands, but by the Russians themselves. Napoleon waited for a surrender that never came. When winter arrived, it was already too late. Temperatures dropped below -30 degrees Celsius. Horses collapsed. Soldiers froze to death as they slept. Disease and starvation tore through the ranks. The retreat was a catastrophe. Of the over 600,000 men who entered Russia, barely 100,000 made it out. This single campaign shattered the myth of the invincible French emperor. 3. A world united against one man. Before Russia, Napoleon had relied on speed, defeating nations before they had time to unite. But after the Russian disaster, everything changed. Britain, Russia, Prussia, Austria, Sweden, and multiple German states formed the Sixth Coalition. Their combined forces eventually reached over 1 million soldiers. For the first time, Europe coordinated its armies, strategies, and resources. Napoleon, meanwhile, had to rebuild from almost nothing. His new armies were courageous but inexperienced. Many were teenagers with a few weeks of training. In 1813, at the Battle of Leipzig, also known as the Battle of Nations, over 600,000 soldiers fought. It was the largest battle in European history before World War I, and Napoleon lost. The French Empire began collapsing piece by piece. 4. Strategic mistakes, from genius to overconfidence. In his early years, Napoleon stunned the world with creativity, lightning-fast marches, unexpected flanking maneuvers, and brilliant use of artillery. But later in his career, a different Napoleon emerged. He rejected advice, underestimated enemies, and relied too heavily on brute force. He believed past victories guaranteed future ones. At Waterloo, for example, he underestimated the Prussians, delayed attacks, and trusted weather to improve. A rare moment where hesitation proved fatal. Napoleon didn't just lose battles. He lost time, initiative, and momentum. The 3 things he once mastered better than anyone. 5. The final answer. So, why did Napoleon lose? Because his empire grew faster than it could sustain. Because Russia destroyed his greatest army. Because Europe united while France weakened. Because even a genius commander can make fatal mistakes when he believes he cannot fail. Napoleon didn't fall in a single moment. He fell slowly, battle by battle, decision by decision, until there was nothing left to command. His rise was extraordinary, but his fall was inevitable. This is why Napoleon lost.